But yeah, so we finally got the full crew in. Coach Jalen in here with me. Finally get the podcast going with both of us and spend a couple episodes and hope they've been insightful and helpful. But this is what it's gonna be, me and my guy, getting it rolling. So welcome to another WideOut Wednesdays. It's Wednesday where you at, so it's Wednesday where we at. So we gotta get it cracking. What's good, bro?
Yes, sir. It was good, man. Glad we can finally hop on. I know we've been talking about it for a minute, and then
Yeah.
life happens and
Yep.
church and everything else. But shoot.
Yep. Nah, for sure. I said he's coming back from Colombia, so
Yep. Living enough to
yeah,
live with it, but glad to be
yeah.
back.
Nah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, really today, I mean, obviously it's our first time together, and obviously in the future it'll be us, but definitely want to give the people some insight just about us, where we come from, what we do, how long we've been doing it, and just kind of tell our story. So I mean, I see you got the background right here. Where is that at?
Central Missouri, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Warrensburg, got to represent. But no, that's where that's where I ended up playing college ball at. Um, Kind of had like a whirlwind around my kind of college career. It wasn't where I that's not where I ended up at, where I ended up at was not where I started at. So,
yeah,
um, but yeah, I can kind of get into that. Like, I guess like my playing career, man, like I started off, um, I had some like offers and stuff coming out. I had like a lot of like the academic schools were looking at me, like the
yeah,
Butlers and Dayton offered me, and I love Dayton, man. I went up there for like a for a visit, and they took me around like a 2-day visit, took me around like the parties and all that kind of stuff. And I was like,
yeah,
man, I want to come here. And then we sat down with the coach, and they was like, it's gonna be this much a year to come here. And I said, oh yeah, we gotta.
yeah.
That
It's a
ain't gonna
wrap.
work, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a wrap, bro. That ain't gonna work, bro. So,
yeah. But even before that, like take me back to like I don't know, like Pee Wee, like
like Pee Wee, man. So
yeah.
I've been playing football since I was 5, man. So
Mhm.
I was out there running. My dad was like a Brentwood Blaze coach, so he was out there coaching. And I was like 4 years old, running around at practice. Like I always knew I was gonna play football, man.
Yeah,
My dad played football in college. My grandfather played football in college. He played the NFL too with the Chiefs. So I'm a big Chiefs guy. Shout out Super Bowl champs, but
man.
um, so yeah, man, football's like been in my family. So I've always kind of known. I was like, me and football were gonna be close. I remember, bro, when I was like 3 in the yard, like my earliest memories were like my dad being like, "Catch it with your hands, like don't catch it." He'd get mad at me when I catch it with my
Yeah,
chest and stuff, man. So
yeah,
like, I guess I always knew I was gonna be a wideout though, but so yeah, that was fun playing at the Blaze. We won, the first championships they ever had there at the Blaze. It's like C5 or whatever it was. We were like 5
mhm.
years old coming up. Um, Played there all the way through until I was like sixth grade. Then sixth grade, I kind of started playing with like my middle school team. Um, so that was fun. It definitely was good. It was different. I think it was just time, like um, for me, like, dude, I don't know if you've ever been like coached by like your dad or not, but like it's cool and all, but
Mhm.
like also like it gets to a certain point where you're just like, all right, like I
Yeah,
need to do my own thing, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, that's kind of where I was at with it though. Like I was just like, man, it's cool.
yeah,
And like, I appreciate it. And we kind of took a step back. And even like as far as like us, like we train wide receivers obviously with the wideout crew, but
mhm.
like I had a guy that I went to and did that for myself. Like he could have definitely probably taught me a lot of stuff and helped me out, but um I think it helped our like off the field dynamic a bunch. Like
Yeah, yeah.
having
No, I
that
feel
having
that.
that barrier, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Must
Uh,
I never my dad never coached me like actually.
yeah.
He coached our summer basketball team one time for like 3 games because like the coach was out. And like
For
I thought it was the best thing. I thought it was the best
real.
thing, bro. So cool. But that was the only time that he ever coached me. But yeah,
Yeah, man. So yeah,
I hear a
yeah.
lot
So
of people say that.
it was cool. Yeah, it was definitely cool. I never had like the high school coach, and everybody says they love it. You know what I mean? But definitely with me, I needed a break, man. I needed
Yeah. No, for sure.
a. But it was cool though. So yeah, I had that, and then I started playing middle school. I went to Brentwood Middle School. Then I ended up playing at Brentwood High School. Man, after my first 2 years were great. Like I got some playing time as a freshman, ended up starting or whatever as a sophomore, and
Mhm.
it was fun, bro. We were winning. We went to like the third round of the playoffs both years. Then my
Yeah.
junior and senior year rolls around, bro. We went 3-7 and 2-8. So um, I guess like later on we can go in and just talk about how getting recruited out of like a losing
I'm
team
not
is
so
definitely
good
difficult.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely can know what that's like.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, then from there, man, I ended up having some offers. I had a offer to go play at Southern University down in HBCU down in Baton
Hmm.
Rouge. Bro, they were actually about to get me paid. Like they're about to pay me like for I had a whole engineering scholarship to go there too. So I was like, I
Yeah.
was gonna get double paid. And then I don't know, something just told me like this ain't the school for you. So like wild
Hmm.
enough, bro. Like I ended up going out and I walked on like a preferred walk on at Northern Arizona my first year.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was like a little blip in my
Where
story. But,
where is that at?
it's in Flagstaff, Arizona. So it's like 2 hours north of Phoenix.
Okay, got you.
But it's like not like what Arizona you think it's like. It's in the mountains. It's 7,000
Yeah,
feet.
it's out there.
We
Yeah.
got dumped on with snow, bro. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
What division is that?
it's FCS, so like Division One.
SES,
They're
got you.
Big Sky. They're out there with like Portland State, Montana,
Got you.
Montana State, Northern
Sacramento State
Colorado,
in that?
Sac State's in
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
all those schools. So it was fun. I had like really no complaints and everything. Um, One, I was like super far from home. Like that was one thing, which
Mhm.
I was cool with, honestly. But being like a preferred walk on dude, like it has like its perks and it definitely has
Yeah.
it's tough, you know what I mean? So when I was there, I saw some people that they were there that um I don't know, they'd been there for a while, they were playing, like they were, getting playing time. They're probably like juniors,
Mhm.
retro sophomores, retro juniors. They were getting playing time, they were like making contributions and like they still weren't put on scholarships. So I was like, like
Yeah. Seeing the writing on the wall.
yeah, I'm just like, maybe, and shortly after I left, they did it, but I'm like, also, like, I don't want to be playing for 2 years, and then like all of a sudden now y'all want to give me some money because, like, as you know, college ain't cheap, bro.
Ain't
So,
cheap. Yeah.
um, and so I ended up transferring back out. So I actually got during camp, I tore my labrum on my shoulder. So
Mhm.
that was kind of my story too. In college, was just injuries, man. Like it's tough, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I love ball, so I kind of fought through it,
Made it work.
but yeah, I tore my shoulder up. So I ended up like during camp, I was trying to I was running by, trying to do a throw by drill. Use your feet, don't use your hands. I just tried to use my arms, and then it stopped my
Yeah.
feet, and I ended up like tearing my shoulder out the back or whatever.
Mm.
But so I got surgery and everything. That was like my first time getting surgery. I guess I had like meniscus surgery, but something like first like real major surgery. Did all that. I actually like rehabbed back and came back and was ready for spring ball. So I got hurt like in the fall and I was ready for spring ball. I had a good spring and everything. So I kind
Yeah.
of looked on a good note for me. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna ball out in spring. And then I was like, I'm
Gone.
out.
Yeah.
And then I ended up transferring to Austin P, which is in Clarksville. It's like 45 minutes from the crib.
Yeah.
So I ended up, um, they just got a new head coach. Will Healy got there. So they went, out, Austin Peay's history. They were like 0 and 11, 1 and
Yeah.
10, 0 and 11. They were horrible. So my first year we actually got there, we went 0 and 11 too. And I was like, man, like I had to do some
I knew.
reevaluating, bro. You know what I mean? Like literally
Yeah.
looking at bro, do you really love this football thing? Like, what's up?
Yeah. Hmm.
But it was cool though. Like I learned a lot. That off season was like the craziest off season I ever had. Like they were definitely trying to run folks off, make people quit. Like, you know how that sort of thing, head coach
Yeah.
comes in and all that sort of deal. Um, but it was good though. Then the next year we ended up coming back. We went I think we went 7-4 like total, but we went 7-1 in the FCS. Like we only lost to Jacksonville State, so like completely turned the program around in a year, which was cool. Um, then after that, I was playing a little bit of Austin P. Like I was doing mostly like special teams. Like I was playing a lot of receiver, but it was kind of like one of those situations they put me in at like 12 personnel. Like, you know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
lot of okay, and we didn't run the ball, we didn't pass the ball a lot to begin with. We were like a, triple option and basically out of the spread is kind of
Hmm.
what we did. A lot of QB run, a lot of like jet sweep, a lot of that kind of sort of thing. So
Yeah.
one, we weren't passing the ball a bunch. And then when we did, it wasn't out of 12 personnel. So if I'm the 12 personnel guy, I'm in there blocking, I'm doing all the
Blocking.
work. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um and I had an injury there too. So that off season after my second year, I tore my labrum in my hip. So
Hmm.
I had hip surgery. So I was like, man, at this point, I'm like, I'm just trying to play ball. Like I'm not trying to sit
Yeah.
here and you know what I mean. I just wanted to end up going to play. So that's how I ended up at Central Missouri. Hence the
Yeah.
background, getting all the way back
Yeah.
around, bro. But
So from Arizona to
Austin P,
Clarksville to
yeah,
got you.
to middle of nowhere, Missouri.
Yeah.
Uh, but it was fun. Like I don't really regret it. Like a lot of people transfer schools, like chasing something, and then they kind of fizzle out and don't like end up
Hmm.
graduating or whatever it is. So like, my it definitely is like different. My like path wasn't how I thought it was going to be coming out of high school,
Yeah.
um, but you learn a lot. And like I said, like I ended up playing. We won conference championship my last year as a senior, so I went out like on a high note. You know what I mean? Won a playoff game. Some stuff we
Yeah.
hadn't done at UCM in a while. So um, yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. Like I learned a bunch. You know what I mean? I met so many
Yeah.
different people. I'm still tight with people from every like school I
Every
went to.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I got to see the world. Got to get the West Coast life. Got to meet some people, you know what I mean? Some good people in
Hmm.
Austin P, and then got to kind of go Midwest and live in Missouri. So
Yeah.
it was cool, bro. Yeah. I don't know. I know
Yeah.
you just went to center, so you went to one school. So
Yeah. I
definitely
went to one school
like,
and yeah, that was
definitely like
it.
a different, you kind of
Yeah.
like stuck it out, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think I can relate to some of the people now, like
The transfer
with the
portal and all
transfer
that.
portal, like the portal and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like I
'Cause it was
definitely
different back then for us. It wasn't
yeah, we didn't
because
have the portal, bro. Like I really
when you
finessed
come out of high
every day
school,
like twice, 15.
15. So I came out in 13. So like
Hmm.
for us, the transferring was like
It
you
was
got to sit
unheard
out a
of,
year
really.
and
Yeah, you had to
yeah,
sit out a year. So like, I think the first time I transferred, I used like I think it was like some hardship or something. I used
yeah,
like I did have stuff going on in my life at the time. And then the next time I transferred, it was like a one-time transfer, non-scholarship, something or another, or
yeah.
whatever that you could
Some
do.
sort of loophole. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the
Yeah.
person that the finance lady, shout out to finance lady at UCM, like she was like, I think we can make this work. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bet.
Bet.
Like it was
Yeah.
like, but it was tough though, because I came in, like they thought I was gonna be ineligible and everything.
Hmm.
Um, and they had me at like 15th receiver. No good. Like I'm transferring from like a D1 like to
Yeah.
D2. And I'm like, I'm thinking I'm at least gonna like, you know what I mean? Man, I was like
Yeah.
the 15th receiver when I got there, like on the depth chart. I'm like, but then I realized like they thought I
Man.
was gonna be eligible, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it came through like 3 days into camp, like, nah, you can play. So I'm like, bet. So I
Smooth.
started just kind of like climbing that
Jumped
ladder.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. That's a journey for sure. But
Yeah, bro.
yeah.
So definitely, I
That,
definitely have my journey as far as the schools and everything. And um, but it's cool. Like I said, I finished. I got my degree. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
everything. Even when I transferred, I lost 35 credits. Like they didn't take
Damn.
35 of my credits, so it's a whole year. So I really had to like, I had A's and B's, but they still were like, "Yo,
Yeah.
bro, like, I'm sorry, you got to retake all these classes." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
"That's tough."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
To have to restart and like be almost like you a sophomore or whatever on the field, and then you back to being a
exactly.
freshman in the
Yeah,
classroom
exactly,
because you switch
exactly.
majors or credits didn't transfer over.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, so it was worth it, but it definitely was tough. Like I said, it was definitely a decision that at that point, like transferring to UCM was like a strictly like I just want to play ball. Like I've been playing,
Yeah.
like I said, I've been playing ball since I was 5. Like I don't want to like end it on some like you know
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm playing like it's cool and all, but like I really just want to go out there and enjoy it, like
Yeah.
carefree. Like that's kind of and that's what it
Yeah.
was for me. I didn't really
Yeah.
have to like stress about it. I wasn't out
Yeah.
here.
Trying to go chase something.
Yeah, you know how college football can get, man. Like
Yeah.
it's not the how it is in high school, how it's built up to be. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
definitely fun. Like, and if you love ball, you're gonna love college. Like college is like so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah. Nah, bro. I seen people leave D3 ball. So like
Yeah, you
you
feel
really
me?
gotta love
Like
it. Yeah.
exactly. So, and like even D3, even to an extent, like you almost have to like love it even more so than
Oh
like,
yeah. No, you
you know what I'm
definitely
saying?
do.
Like,
Yeah.
because you're not getting like maybe as much like notoriety or whatever as some other
Yeah.
people might be trying to get it for. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. No,
um,
for sure.
but yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my crazy journey. You didn't even know I went to NAU,
Yeah. I didn't even know that. Yeah. So
huh?
that's wild. I mean, went all over the place. Probably saw some cool places too. I ain't never been out to Arizona, but
For
um,
sure.
yeah, no, that's definitely a journey. And mine's a little different, but um, I feel like everybody has their own, I guess, walk of life and how they go through stuff. But yeah, for me, I mean, I played. I'm from Nashville too, so my first year playing football was with Blaze too.
Oh, for
I
real?
started playing. Yeah, I started playing in fourth grade, so a little bit later. Because at first my first sport was baseball, and then played basketball next. So like I was focused on that. Like I was on the diamond and going
Hmm.
all tournaments and all that. And basketball, started hooping. And then I think from a from a young age, I was a Titans fan. So like going to the Titans games and like seeing them, like I knew all the players, like I knew, everybody on the team. Like I could tell you like all types of stuff, like being a second, third grader. about the Titans football. So like that kind of inspired me to want to play. And then one of my best friends, he actually ended up going to a school that was in our conference in college, but I went to one of his games. He played for Una. So I'm sure everybody in Nashville, they know the Una Bears. So I went out there and watched him play some games. And I remember one of the coaches was like, "Hey, you want to come play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I'm trying to play." And he was like, "Because your parents will sign you up." And I was like, "All right, bet." So I literally went home. I was like, "Hey, sign me up for Una." And then we stayed all the way out in Antioch at the time. So they was like, we were about to move. So we went from Antioch to Brentwood. And so they signed me up for Blaze because that was the closest thing there.
You ain't want the smoke, bro. You ain't want the smoke.
Man, bro, I was trying to play with my boy, but it was like, we ain't finna drive all the way to, to wherever it was in Nashville that was playing at the time. But so played Blaze, and really it was funny, man. Like, you play football at recess, and you think you're doing everything and juking folks out and all that. So I get to Blaze, man, and obviously they have the little like tryout days to classify you with like AAA, Triple B, all that stuff. So I go out there, I'm killing folks, like catching everything, running good routes, all that good stuff. And then I think my first year I made, for my age group, I think B's was like my age group. So I made like the highest Triple B or whatever. Got on Triple B's, was playing receiver. And I remember my first game, bro, I probably had like 11 targets. Guess how many I caught?
You probably had like 3 catches, huh?
Like 1 or 2, maybe. I was dropping everything.
And they kept throwing it to you?
You said what?
And they kept throwing it to you?
Yeah. No, I kept getting open. But I wasn't catching nothing, bro. And that was like my first experience, like in the game, like helmet on, shoulder pads on, big old, back then it was the loophole hip pads and all that.
Oh yeah, with the big old,
big thigh pads, big knee pads, all that stuff. So you saw that, even though we had practiced a little bit, like it's different when you get in that game. So I remember I went home, and this was like my dad ran track, played basketball. He didn't play football, but he kind of, he watching Jerry Rice and people like that. So he kind of had an idea. He was like, all right, like you got to catch with your hands. So he put me on the brick wall. First, he was catching bricks. So like it was a stack of bricks under the deck from when they didn't finish building the house that we had moved into. So I was catching bricks, focusing on my eyes, all that stuff. And then he put me on a wall, and he was like, all right, you can't back up. Like he was beating them at me. I had to extend to the football, catch, I'm out there. It's hot. Like it's,
You said you were in 4th grade?
Yeah, I'm in 4th grade, bro. I'm out there. And every time I drop one, I got to do push-ups. Like, and that helped me become a better catcher. And just that, I still remember that experience to this day. And I'm glad my dad made me do that. Even though he didn't really know nothing about football, like he understood, like, all right, like he could see what I was doing wrong on the field and was like, all right, that's what we need to do.
That's what's up.
So yeah, and from that point, obviously got a lot better. Started catching passes and making plays. And then the next year, obviously played plays again. Then got into middle school ball. That was fun. We weren't very good. We had good players, but our coaches just weren't very good. So
where you go to middle school?
Sunset.
Okay.
Yeah. So we was playing Brentwood and Woodland and all them teams like that. But for whatever reason, we just couldn't win big games at all. So we win 1 or 2 games a year. But like, we had all the athletes and talent, but we just couldn't win no games. And then my freshman year, got to Ravenwood, played freshman ball, played a little bit of JV, and then in spring they actually brought me up. Actually, the end of freshman season they brought me up to varsity, so I dressed out for a couple of varsity games. Didn't get to play, but just got to watch and experience that as a freshman. And at the time, so like that freshman year, I played football, basketball, and ran track. So like I was all over the place.
As a freshman, that's a lot.
Yeah, as a freshman, yeah. But really, I had a ton of success freshman ball, and then like going into spring. So this is before I moved. So like going into spring, I'm suiting up with varsity and spring practice. I was running track at the same time too. So like I had qualified for sections for the 400. But spring ball's going at the same time, and I'm like, man, bump this 400. I ain't trying to do it.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad was like, you qualify for this track season. Like you need to go do this. And it was on a Saturday, and I believe we had a spring game like the Friday before.
A scrimmage, something.
Yeah, so I remember we played Lincoln County, and I was like, all right, bro, I'll do both. Like, whatever, like I'll do it. So spring game goes, I scored 3 touchdowns in the spring game, first Lincoln County. So I was like, I'm through the roof. I didn't even think about the track meet the next day. But on the last one, I did something where I got like a hip flexor.
I
So
was
I
about to
kind
say
of
you
like,
probably got busted up or something, man.
yeah, I can't remember what the play was. I bet if I go on Ravenwood's old huddle, they
You
might
can
have took
find
it
it.
off by now, but I probably find it. But I did something to my hip where I was reaching for the pylon or something, and got hit or whatever. So I'm going into that night like, man, like I don't know if I can run like for real, because I got a hip flexor. So wake up, go to track. It was at Brentwood. I remember it was cold, and I'm warming up, and I'm like, man, like I don't know if I can go, and like I'm going against junior seniors that's they running. Like I think my best at the time was like a 52, so I wasn't like
Nah, I ain't slow.
I wasn't elite, but like for a freshman, like it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I probably could have maybe been close to qualifying for the next round, but it would have been, but I would have had to pull something out. So with all that considered, I was like, man, I don't know if it's worth me running. So I ended up not running because hip was kind of messed up, and then I kind of took some time off because it's right back into after track. It's right back into spring, summer football workouts and all that. So start going June, and then get the news. My dad was like, "Hey, like, we moving to Memphis," and I'm
Dang.
like, "Bro, like, what? Like, why are we moving?" And like all my boys here, like, I kind of established myself. Like, I'm the
Yeah.
football player, basketball, track, grades are smooth. Like, friend group was all up here. Like, this is where I'm from. And then I was kind of like, man, I don't want to move. But it was probably one of the best things that happened to me.
Bro.
Yeah, because get down to Memphis, you're around different types of people, around different ways of doing things. So like get down there, I have to start back. Like I'm back at the bottom of the totem pole. Got to work my way back up, prove myself. And going into that sophomore year, I ended up deciding like, all right, like I'm gonna focus on like I love ball, so I want to do. So I'm gonna just play football and run track. So I didn't play basketball. And then down there in Memphis, like basketball is like, it's a little more, that's like almost like religion down there. So I was like, I don't really love ball like that. Like, I could play, but like, I ain't really trying to
You
be
ain't a
playing
hoop. You were
AAU.
like, I'm not a hooper for real.
Yeah, I ain't trying to play AAU and do all that stuff because down there it's like them dudes play basketball 24/7. So like, I'm a football guy. So like,
Yeah.
I kind of figured that out for me. And obviously, I still played, and they was like, hey, bro, like I'm hooping to study hall, and they're like, bro, come play. I'm like, nah,
Nah, I'm
I'm
cool.
done.
Yeah. What
But
year was
yes,
that? Was that your junior year?
that was my sophomore year.
Okay, so okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was my sophomore year. So sophomore year was cool. Like worked my way up the depth chart. Obviously made new friends and all that. But I remember like one of my first practices, like folks like they pressing, man press. I'm like, all right, this is different. Like
You was
up
like,
here,
whoa, yeah,
up here it's cover
we
four,
cover
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 three.
three, cover four,
Yeah,
back.
like ain't no corners that this athletes for real. Like man, it's a few. You play some of the like Cane Ridges and schools
Yeah.
like that. You're not seeing that every week. So like it was different for me. I had to kind of adjust. Coach was like, get off the line. Like back then, it wasn't no release tapes and Instagram. So like they was get off the ball. Like
Use
be
your
aggressive,
hands
be
like
physical. Yeah,
that.
use your hands. It wasn't no direction. So I kind of had to learn that on the fly.
Yeah.
But that helped me kind of evolve my game even more. And then we ran like at the time, that's when the spread was like this new thing and up tempo, fast pace. So that was what we ran down there. So like I learned how to run routes. I learned how to count my steps.
Oh, yeah.
Like I learned all that stuff down there. So that helped me a lot because I mean I knew that stuff, but like not really to the degree that you had to know it in that type of offense.
Yeah.
So that was good. So sophomore year was straight. Like I got a lot of PT on varsity. Like I remember it was game of the week. I had 3-4 catches, like 50 yards off screen. So like I'm establishing myself. All right, this kid can play. Did a little bit of special teams, like returning punts and stuff. And then going into junior year, I'm thinking, all right, like I'm gonna be the dude. Like the other dudes, they were seniors, they graduating. Like I'm gonna be wide receiver one.
Like, is it?
Yeah. So get into there, and then I'm bad. Like I think that year I played Z, and there was another dude behind me. And you know how this go. Like not to sound political and all that, but like dad was on the booster club, and like he was solid, but like it wasn't like he was nothing. Like he wasn't. I don't think he was better than me. Like he could play, but I don't think he was like better than me.
I know.
So we competing for the spot. They making it sound like, all right, like y'all compete for the starting spot, whatever, wooty woo. So we obviously going back and forth, like making plays. First game, we play Oakland up here. So we traveled back to where I'm from. So I'm going back home. Like Murfreesboro not home, but it's like I'm going through Nashville. I'm like, all right, I gotta show out. And coach like, all right, you going back home. Like, we're going to start you this game, and then we'll start the other kid the next game. But we know you coming home, whatever, we're going to start you. So play Oakland. I think I had like 5 or 6 catches for about 60 or 70 yards. slipped on a post that would have been 6. But had a good game, and then like we ended up losing that game. But the last drive, I think we were down 10, and like he was in the last drive, and like at that point, like they playing prevent soft, like the game's
Yeah.
already over. He scores a touchdown on that drive.
And so they're gonna be like,
So
they're gonna
yeah, so in my mind, I'm like, damn, I got 5 for 70, but he got 2 for 20 and a touchdown. Um, so next game, come back, we played White Station down there, and he started that game, but
it was
we was
cold that
rotating.
game too, bro.
We was rotating series or whatever. So a couple series in, like I think I had a couple catches. He had a couple catches, and then my next series, you drive it to the goal line, and then they call like a sweep play, and I'm just supposed to block my guy outside shoulder, whatever. So approach him, start blocking him, and I don't really get a good block on him, but he kind of slips past me. But like the play is gobbled up, bro. Like linebackers, D line, they all making a tackle, and he kind of jumps in and hops on it, and then I think we had kick a field goal. I come to the sideline. They just bitching me out, bro. Excuse my language, but like they was just yelling at me like, you don't never block, you don't get no effort, wooty woo. And I'm like, bro, like, like what's up?
Everybody on the play missed their block, bro. Like,
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, like that wasn't my dude did not make the play. So from that point on, I pretty much got benched. I didn't really play my whole junior year. And
that's
like,
tough. And that's like
yeah,
that's the crucial year right there too, man.
yeah. So like I played 2 games really. And then the whole year, like, I was thinking like, man, should I transfer? Like, should I leave? And I'm like, all right, like, do I really love football? And I'm like, I do. So like in my mind, obviously my dad was like, bro, like you got to work through this. It's something you got to work through.
Yeah.
So show up to practice every day, show up to everything, be on time, control what you can control, and get better from it. So like I didn't transfer. I probably should think it back. I probably should have, but like I feel like it prepared me for college and like different adversities you face in life. So I battled through it, competed. Hey, what I need to do to get more playing time, what do I need to do? And obviously, here and there I played. And then obviously senior year, we were in the same class. So like senior year, it's the same thing. I learned different spots. I'm trying to plug my way in and get plays where I can. Didn't have like numbers wise like the best senior year, but I put enough on tape to where like, all right, I can field some college looks. So I had opportunities to, especially with track too. So track was going well too. So like we went to state and track.
Yeah, I forgot you did both, bro.
Yeah. So like, went to state and track junior year and senior year. So I had that going for colleges as well. So they looked at that like, all right, it's a dual sport guy. He can contribute on both ends. So I had opportunity to walk on football at TSU and then earn a scholarship track at TSU. Yeah. And then same thing at Tennessee, like walk on football, prefer walk on at Tennessee, and then run track as well. And that was kind of I was kind of all right, like I'm gonna go to Tennessee, kind of work my way up, do all that stuff, like run track, and then kind of go that route. And then probably about February, little school from Danville, Kentucky, hits me up, Center College, and they're like, hey, like we saw your tape, like you run track too, like think we really could use you here. And I'm thinking, man, like D3 ball, like I don't want to go play D3. But I'm like, all right, like they showing interest, they really want me. More interest, more so than the other schools I was talking to. So I'm like, all right, like why not? So I go up there and visit. Actually went to a game during senior year, and like they up tempo, they throwing the ball around. They out there having fun. Yeah, it wasn't a big stadium. Wasn't it wasn't like going to Tennessee or nothing, but like I could tell like all right, like it's something special about this. So I had good conversations with football coaches, receiver coach, offensive coordinator, with the track people as well. And like they showed genuine interest. And obviously a school like that, like for people that don't know, like it's one of the, most highly academic rated schools in the South. And they telling me, hey, if you come here, like, you're going to be straight after, after college, after you graduate. And like, I'm forward thinking, obviously my dad, like, all right, like think about like what you want to do after, what if football don't work out. So I'm kind of like, all right, like, they're gonna give me some money, like good education, still can play competitive ball. That's the thing too. Like D3 ball is not like, people think like I'm gonna go D3 ball and just ball out. Like I was thinking that.
Yeah, like, no, they got some dudes.
Dudes can play. So you got, we had dudes from Kentucky, Ohio, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, like everywhere. And like, they all region, they all state, that was the best on their team. So it's like, it ain't like you playing against dudes that's
just out here.
Just out here. They really love ball. And it's like, for whatever reason, whether it was they want to go to academic school or, hey, like, I really know I don't want to play professional, so it don't matter where I go play. Or, hey, like, I don't really have no offers, but they want me to come here and play. And I know I can play. Bet I'm come here.
And so many people get overlooked, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah,
so many people that just like for whatever reason, school wasn't good, or people just didn't high school
yeah,
coach didn't help them get recruited, or like whatever the case, bro. There's so many reasons like
yeah,
that good people end up at levels they, you know what I mean? They a lot of
yeah.
people at D3 can play at I noticed the difference is like the line is like
It's, yeah, that's
is
it,
the
bro. The
line a lot,
interior.
but like the
Yeah,
interior is definitely different, like the depth. But as
yeah,
far as outside, man, like
yeah.
any level really is like you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, maybe a little bit faster, guys, like
Yeah, for sure.
D1, but
Yeah, for sure.
it's some like we play. I remember we played John Carroll, and like I'm like these dude, all of them should be playing D1. I'm like,
You said,
I ain't never seen nothing like this up
yeah.
close. So like it's dudes that like your John Carrolls, Mount Unions, Wisconsin Whitewater, like
Hmm.
it's some institutions, Mary Hardin Baylor out of Texas, like it's some dudes and schools in D3 that like they could be playing D2, D1 ball,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, playing D3. But there's ain't nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that, especially if you get school paid for. I was getting academic scholarships. I had they have different types of like grants and stuff that you can get. That's not
Hmm.
like scholarships, but like
It's
it's for the athletes.
yeah.
So I end up going there. Freshman year, cool. And the biggest adjustment there is like learning playbook, all that stuff. But it's playing special teams. That's how I got on the field and traveled. Sophomore year, I'm getting a little more time offensively, more in the rotation. I didn't start my sophomore year, but like I was kind of cracking that.
Hmm.
Like, hey, I'm wide receiver 3, 4. We were a lot of 10 personnel, but depending on who we were playing, like we would play some 11 or 12 as well too. But like my whole thing freshman sophomore year was like, hey, I'm the punt return man. Like that's what I do, and they trusted me. I built that trust
Already
up.
out
So
there.
like, yep. So that was kind of my role those 2 years, and then going into junior year, it was like, all right, like now it's my time. Wide receiver 1, like ready to take off. Do what I do. First game played Hanover up in Indiana. First drive, probably the third play, they called. It was 99Y, this double post. I
Hmm.
know him. He's cover 3. Like I know I'm going deep. Boom, breaking the post off, and it should be 6. So just like how we saw on film, boom, run the post, catch it, going into the end zone, and I kind of like was about to like roll and fall over, and do this corner like kind of pushed me in my back. And so when he pushed me, it kind of like prevented me from rolling quicker. So my knee hits the ground like straight on, and I hit it straight on, boom, pop up, adrenaline's pumping. I'm not really thinking about nothing. It's first game, first series, first touchdown. Like I'm lit. I'm like, all right, this
Yeah.
season's gonna be lit. Like we finna tear it up. So I get to the sideline, sit down, because I know, like, for me, like, I'm the punt returner, so I know, like, we kick off, defense get a stop on third, like, I'm back on. So I'm gonna make
Hmm.
sure I'm straight. So I sit down, recover a little bit, and then it's second down. I think it's like, yeah, second and long. So I'm like, all right, like, we probably gonna, get the punt or whatever. So I stand up, but like my knee, like, it won't lift. I'm like, bro, what's going on?
Hold on
And
now.
then, yeah, I'm trying to jog around. Like, it don't feel right. I'm thinking it's just like a little sprain or something, but like, all right, like I can't lift my knee up. And then boom, adrenaline kicks, wears off, things start swelling up. I'm like, dang. So they like, yeah, just chill. Like, you probably got a sprain. Like, no, we good. We should blow this team out. Like, be back next week. So get back to campus, get an MRI that they don't see nothing. They're like, yeah, it's just a mild sprain, whoopty woo.
Mhm.
So I was back rehabbing. I think I was out for 5 weeks, and that was like one of the toughest things, bro. Because I'm like, man, this is supposed to be like the season. I'm supposed
I'm supposed to be,
to take off. Um, so come back like the fourth to last game. Obviously at that point, like offense got chemistry. The dude that was filling for me, like he kind of he's not like he's a drop off. Like it's a good player. So I'm not really like asserted back into the full-time role. It's kind of like,
yeah.
they still trying to fill me out. Like, how healthy are you? How, like, what can you do? Still returning punts though. So the last 4 games, I'm kind of like a spot player offensively, but still returning punts. But like, I never really felt like I was 100%. Like, I feel like something was off.
Like you
So
could at
season
least
ends.
do what you could
Yeah.
really do. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It didn't feel the same, but season ended. I think we ended up making the tournament, because in D3 is a tournament. And the year before, I backtracked, we conference champions, went undefeated, made it to the tournament, ended up going to the first round, lost to John Carroll. And then the next year, that junior year, we didn't make it. I think we had lost to Barry in the conference championship, so we didn't make it.
Yeah.
So the D3 is like, if you don't win a conference championship, like you're not making the best of, I think it's 32.
Oh, for real? So
Um,
like there's no like at large bids really
there
for real?
is, but it's like we were coming from a smaller conference in D3, so it's like for
So
us to make
if you
it,
don't win that conference, they
yeah,
not
really for us to make it, like the year we made it before, we were undefeated and won the conference championship. If we'd have lost one game, like we probably wouldn't have made it. So
really.
it's high stakes. Like every game
Yeah.
matters. Like you got to win your conference championship, go undefeated.
Yeah.
At large, it's got to be like a one loss and like you win your conference championship or you got second.
Yeah.
So it's tough to make it. So we didn't make it my junior year, but to get back home over winter break and I'm trying to hoop and I'm like, bro, I can't like do nothing. Can't guard nobody, can't rebound. So I get checked out and they're like, yeah, bro, your knee torn. And I'm like, what you mean it's torn? Like, yeah, you got to get surgery.
How long has this been since you like heard it?
Yeah, I mean, from when I heard it, that was August. So like, yeah, like I probably could have if they would have, So
Done
really,
something back
like,
then or
really, I
whatever.
got misdiagnosed. You know how in college ball, like they want you to play, so
Man,
like
they
they
trying to
ain't
get you
really
out of
trying
shape.
to. Yeah, I only got one opinion. They were like, I got two, so it's like, are you good? It's a sprain, but you be back in 4 weeks. Like, so they're like, yeah, man, it's torn. Like you got ligament damage, all this stuff. Like I tore my PCL, post out of a corner. It's going. You're gonna be out 10 months. So I'm like, all right, at the time it was January. I'm like, if I get surgery in February, like I'm not back till the end of the season, dang near. So that's a whole world of emotions trying to figure out, is it worth me getting surgery or do I not get surgery, just rehab and play with it torn and get surgery after? But ultimately decided to get surgery and I was like, look, I'm just going to rehab super hard. I'm going to get back. So get surgery. Ended up getting back for my senior year. So I got the training camp, probably about 80%. But well enough to like, all right, get back in the rhythm and play.
Yeah.
So I was really like probably like receiver 3, receiver 4, just because like at camp I was like no pads, no contact, so I never really got to like start with like 100% footing.
Uh-huh.
But obviously senior year, I did what I could, contributed when I could, still return punts and kicks. Obviously spot played. Like there were some games where like they put me in a slot or they put me on sweeps and stuff like that. So like I had a role, but it wasn't like the role that I imagined that I wanted to have as far as like being the guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was hard, but at the same time, like I was like, look, like
That was your junior year?
yeah, this is my senior year.
Oh, this is your senior year? Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
this is my
okay.
senior. So at that point, I'm thinking like, all right, like I just want to play, like have fun, finish,
Yeah,
play
yeah,
ball.
yeah.
Obviously, like with track too, it's like sophomore year with track, like one conference championship, place, top 3 in 100, top 2 in the 4x1 and the 4x4. So like had some success with track as well. Obviously, didn't run track my junior year because I was out,
You're
and the
right.
senior year track, just didn't have that step like I did before.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do much my senior year in track. But like for me, like after sophomore year, like I actually thought about transferring to like go to TSU or transfer to
Something
Tennessee.
like
But
that, yeah.
for me, it was like, all right, I done finished this hard degree, like coursework and all that. Like, do I want to forego all this and have to restart and then be back to square one? So like for me, it was like the bigger picture was let me finish and get my degree from here because I know it's gonna set me up for life after. And I'm still get to play ball, run track, and have fun with it. So same thing with like what you were saying. Like I figured out for me like it wasn't about trying to go chase,
Yeah.
you know, go chase this and chase that. And like we had a couple of dudes that did make it to NFL from center.
That's it.
So I always knew like all right, if I do want to do it like it's possible, I can do that from here. But like after the injury, I was kind of like, all right, like not that it's impossible, but like, all right, like I need to make sure I have a plan on the back end. Because I know like just, it's tough. Like you really got to be special coming from a D3 school or D2 school to make it to the league or you can get opportunity to, to showcase yourself. So that was kind of my story. And then obviously, got into coaching, but yeah, it was a good experience. Learned a lot about myself. I think it prepared me a lot for life. And then just even football wise, like, it was competitive ball.
Yeah.
Same thing with track too. So it was competitive. Dudes running, 10.5s, 10.4s. It wasn't like it was just this drop off because it's D3. Like it's some athletes in D3. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a little bit of just, I mean, that was my story really. So
No, that's tough. Like you said, everybody got their story, especially like fighting through injuries like that, man. And then like
yeah.
going, especially like if your trajectory's here, then it's like,
Yeah.
you kind of like sometimes God just does some stuff to like,
Yep.
But I think it's good though. Like I think we're better, obviously better for it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, learn through the adversity, like whatever the path may be,
Mhm.
and some people, they go through stuff and don't ever learn from it. So it's
Yeah.
like,
No, that's a fact. And I think the biggest thing that I did learn from all that too was like, I never forget somebody told me it was like, you're more than football. So
yeah, that
like
took
my
me so
sophomore,
long.
yeah, like my sophomore year, like I was like I'm like, that's me, like football,
Oh,
like live and breathe it. Like that's me. Like that's what I am. Like I didn't really know, I knew myself, but I ain't really like, I got so into it. Like I didn't know myself outside of football. So like
mhm.
getting like to a point where I almost got taken out of it, it made me realize, all right, like, dang, like
Yeah,
it's more to it than just ball. Like, yeah, ball is fun, it's important, but like it's more to me, it's more to life than the game.
yeah,
And so like it took somebody to tell me that, but then it took me getting injured and like, dang, like I really can't play ball. Like what, like who am I? Like what am
mhm.
I? So I think a lot of guys, especially now, like they get so into it, which is good. Like you want to be into what you're doing, but you got to make sure like you stay not balanced, but you got to make sure you know who you are outside of the game.
Yeah,
And I feel like a lot of guys like they get lost in it.
yeah, and it's
Sometimes
easy too,
sometimes
though.
for better, sometimes for worse.
Yeah, I think it's easy too, like just like how we live, and like if you like just like adults and everybody else, like usually when you're talking to kids, it's like, how's football going? Like we
Yeah,
may mean it harmlessly, but like at the end of the day, like it kind of like reinforces the fact that like, oh, like you are whatever you do, like type of
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Um, but no, yeah, somebody when I went to this one visit I dated, and that's like this guy, he was tore his ACL. I think he like tore it like 2 years in a row, but he like gave me like the
Mhm.
best advice probably for school, and he was just um, like go somewhere that if you got hurt, that you'd still enjoy going to school there.
Still, yep,
Yeah. Because like usually when you're going to school, you're just like, oh, the coaches or they run this system and like
yep,
at this facility, and like yeah, that stuff matters. It matters, but like there's gonna be, I mean, chances are you go to college and you play football long enough, like you're gonna get hurt, so
yeah.
probably gonna
Hmm.
miss a year or like some games or whatever it is. So you better be at a spot that you can see yourself being
See
at.
yourself being that, yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Whether it be like the culture, the whatever it is, but
yeah. And then knowing too, like if your goal is the league or it is playing professional ball, it's like knowing like, all right, I really gotta dedicate myself to the game
yeah,
and what I'm doing. But at the same time, you do have to know who you are outside of it because it's like you don't want to be in that spot where it's like, you know, if it gets taken away from you, you don't know what to do with yourself. So
yeah. And even then,
um
like, what's the average time for the league is like what,
less than 5.
like less
Mm,
than, yeah, like 3 years or something, like 2.5 years or something crazy. So it's like even if you do make it to the league, like most people ain't getting set up for life off the league. Like
yeah,
it's like the slim of the slim, bro. That, like
yeah,
actually make it there and
yeah. And I think that's where a lot of
fire.
dudes, that especially the age group that we're working with, mostly high school guys, college guys, like them realizing like, all right, like what's the end goal for me? Is it, do I want to play in the NFL, or is it, do I want to have a college experience, or
Mhm.
do I want to go play SEC football? Like, what's your end goal? Because then that really can help you outline like where you need to be. Because if it's like, hey, I really don't think I want to play NFL, then it's like go play somewhere where you're going, you'll get a good education where you can get the most out of it,
And you gonna play.
enjoy that 4 years and actually play.
Yeah.
Um, Instead of going for the status of like, oh, I played at University of Alabama, but I ain't getting no call. I ain't never stepped on the field. It's like, it's not, what is that worth? If if your goal isn't to play there or like go to the league, it's like go play at Alabama A&M or go play at, you know, wherever, what I'm saying, that you can actually contribute and enjoy that 4 years and play ball if you really love ball.
Yeah.
But if it is if your goal is to play, NFL, it's like, all right,
Gotta do it.
you're gonna have
Yeah.
to sacrifice and go, walk on if you don't get that offer, or you're gonna have to go if you get an offer. Once you get there, back to zero, you got to prove yourself and work your way
Yeah.
up, and then produce so that you can have the opportunity to get to that point. So it's just all about knowing what your end goal is.
Yeah. I think people don't stop and think about it though. They just get so
Yeah,
busy going
and
on it.
what it's going to take as far as
Yeah, to get
sacrifice.
there, like work backwards, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I feel like that was a good, good insight to who we are, and definitely like we're gonna have other athletes on, coaches, other trainers, hop on the show with us and just kind of talk about when it comes to wide out play more specifically, their experiences and their stories to be able to help you guys, you know, on the field, off the field, wherever we can be helpful. That's why we started this. So yeah, with that, I mean, that's about it for this episode. But yeah, definitely tune in, tap in every Wednesday, 7 o'clock episodes dropping. And if you want to get on the podcast, hit us up, DM us. You can find us on Instagram at the WideOut Crew. Jamar, what's your IG?
I don't know. I think it's Jmar83 underscore,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
don't be posting really real
yeah.
stuff
He'll be on
on
there.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. You
I
got to
might
get the
have to make a
Jamar numbers.
special. I might have to make a special Instagram for that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. No, I feel you. But yeah, you can find us there, YouTube, and then the WideOut Wednesdays on Instagram as well. But that's where everything we posting on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all that. So yeah, appreciate y'all tapping in, and we'll see y'all next week.